Hey guys, welcome to Bruce Magoots, where today I'm going to be doing a whole lot of updates and upgrades and just overall love given to this Jackson USA KV2 Pile of Skulls. This was hand painted by Dan Lawrence. I love this guitar. I've had it in my collection for a while, but it's time to, kind of give it some love. So I'm going to be doing a whole bunch of stuff, including like refret and all this other stuff. But in this video, we're going to be taking a look at the FU Tone titanium upgrade set. So we're going to be installing this on this OG Floyd bridge. Also have a 34 millimeter big block here. Actually, I think this is a 37. And then I have their noiseless springs. And then also, like besides the FU Tone, I also got some of these brass fine tuners. And I'm going to be putting that on the bridge. So just basically a nice bridge and hardware upgrade, mostly focused on FU Tone, and to check it out and see if it's worth the money. So let's dive right on in. All right guys, so let's take a close look at the hardware before we get installed. Here is the brass block. It is solid and obviously has a nice weight to it. The curious thing about their stuff is that you're paying premium prices for this stuff, and they don't say where it's made, which I feel like you're supposed to have a country of origin when you're selling parts, but they don't. And I have a feeling they don't because this stuff's made in China. Because if it was made in the US, then you would obviously advertise that as such, but they don't. So this is probably all just China stuff. There's some bell brass screws, which I like to use the brass screws. Like these actually hold up pretty well. As long as you're using the right size Phillips in there, they hold up well. Let's take a look at the string lock screws. These are titanium, but they do a really good job as far as machine work and the coloring job on there. So that is nice, but again, like I have a feeling that you can get the same thing from China for half the price. Here is these dudes are not FU Tone. This is straight from China, but this is some brass fine tuners, which adds more mass to the bridge, which I like. It's a good way to kind of get more mass in there, especially if you're going with titanium hardware, which kind of taking out the steel mass. That puts it back in the place where I want it. Here is their silent springs. Black is like the standard heavy duty ones. I think red is the next step up, and I kind of go between black and red. With red, sometimes you can use just 2 springs instead of 3, but I typically am happy with the 3 blacks. And there's a piece of foam in here in the middle that kind of deadens the string. But spring, not string. One thing I do is I find that I have grounding problems when using their stuff because typically the ground is going to be on the claw, and when you have the strings going from the bridge here, if they're not making a good connection, then you're not getting a good ground. So what I do is I just Dremel away the coating on here, so that kind of ensures that there's a good connection, a good grounding connection. You can kind of see what I've done here, but that's my pro tip of the day for you guys, or you may already know that, but that's what I like to do. And then here are the posts. Again, good quality. I don't need a new insert, so I'm just gonna take these dudes out and put them in the guitar body. But I like that they do include the inserts with them. And then here is the miscellaneous hardware. You got your little string blocks and all that stuff in there. So for all the saddle screws and then the headstock lock screws. But it's a nice little assortment. So let's get them installed. All right, so I finally finished up everything on the guitar except the bridge upgrades with the FQ tone stuff. I've got the refret, the electronics swaps, the body filling and repolishing, and now it's time to focus on this, which I'll just do a time lapse of. But one thing to always note when you're if you start messing with a bridge, this has the wrong radius on there. It has a 12-inch radius, which this is a 12 to 16 compound radius. So really, I need to be at about an 18 by the time I get to the bridge, because that radius continues on. And this is a USA shop, Jackson, and they still don't get it. But anyway, so I have these saddle shims. I'm going to shim that out while I have everything apart. And got my little tremol-no system in there. We'll get that on there, the brass block. I'll probably have to add a shim to the nut because I've got the extra jumbo Jescars on there. So I imagine I'm a little bit short. I'm gonna have to bump it up a shim or two, but I got dudes for that. And we'll just hop to it. All right, guys, so here it is all installed. I really like the gold hardware, especially with the golden black bare knuckle Ragnaroks they have on there. I think everything kind of complements each other fairly well. And then over here at the nut. So yeah, you may have seen me using some red paste. I like to put that on some of the screws, like that hold the block on and hold the intonation screws, just to keep them from moving, loosening up over time. Like they will come out if you want them to come out, but they don't loosen up on their own, which I like. And then here is a quick shot of the back of things. Again, I really love the tremol-no system. All right, guys, so this whole project was just a pain in the butt. It was a lot of work, but I'm really happy with the end result. And I really think that the FQ tone titanium hardware looks good with how everything turned out. Really happy with that. Yeah, you know, they make good stuff. The only thing is like they don't say where it's from, which I feel like they should, and I feel like there is probably a legal obligation to notify consumers where something is made, at least as far as the U.S. So there's that. They could just be straight China stuff that they're charging USA prices for, but they are good quality. You know, regardless of where they come from, they're good quality and they look good. You know, are they going to make a difference in tone and all that stuff? And I mean, I don't think so. A bigger block can add more sustain, but I honestly feel like it all kind of just matters what style of music you're playing. If you're playing all like Fender cleans, then yeah, you're going to notice stuff more. But you know, I've had their titanium saddles and their titanium locking nuts and all that stuff, and it's just not, there's not a whole lot of difference there, especially for the cost of things. But you know, maybe you like it. So for me, it's more of just a visual thing. I wanted to change up the look, and you know, they sell all that in just one kit, as far as, you know, just a hardware upgrade. And you know, they have a bunch of colors, so that's what I like it for. I'm pretty happy with the way everything turned out. So as always, feel free to ask me any questions and I'll be happy to answer them. And until next time, I will see you guys later.
I believe I have made a significant find in the Kandarian ruins, a volume of ancient Sumerian burial practice.